Hello, Patriots, and welcome to this special edition of Patriot Point. We usually only do one show a week on Friday mornings, but this week we're doing an extra because we have for you what is the probably single biggest scandal in the recent history for years in Kentucky. The media is not talking about it, they're not covering it, and so the legislature and a lot of them in the legislature aren't really thinking that this is such a big deal. This is huge, and it's up to we the people to press a response to this. One, Andy Beshear has taken out a loan in the name of Kentucky for more than $750 million. Number two, it is against the law for him to do that. It violates Section 49 of the Kentucky Constitution. So if somebody does something which is against the law, what is that? That's a crime. Andy Beshear has committed a huge, massive crime by borrowing more than $750 million illegally. And I want him to answer for that. I think Kentucky taxpayers want him to answer for that. Number three. KRS, that's Kentucky law, KRS number 39A is the one that deals with emergency powers. Nowhere in those emergency powers is he ever given the authority to incur debt for the state. That is something that may only be done by the General Assembly. The law says that in that emergency powers that he can suspend any of the statutes. And the Kentucky Supreme Court recently ruled all of his mandates are legal because this KRS emergency clause allows him to suspend statutes. It does not allow him to suspend the Constitution. And the Constitution says he has zero legal authority to borrow $750 million. That may only be done by the General Assembly. And so he has illegally taken this. He has committed a crime. Let's think about this. Number four, the Kentucky Supreme Court recently ruled that his mandates and actions are legal. Keep this in mind. This borrowing, this loan that he took out for $750 million was not part of that case. So the Supreme Court has not ruled that okay. And the reason that it wasn't part of the case and they didn't rule it okay is because it is specifically listed as not legal in Section 49 of the Kentucky Constitution. Number five, the General Assembly has the legal authority to determine if what he did is going to slide or if it's not. The Kentucky Constitution, Section 66, says the House of Representatives alone, not the court, not anybody else, will decide on this. I hope they will hold him responsible for what he has done. It doesn't matter if they like Governor Beshear or if they dislike him. If that was the only reason to act on this, that would be a reason that I could not support, just because I disagree with someone. He has broken the law in a huge, massive way. Some people are saying that, and I'll do this for number six, that the legislature is going to strip him of his emergency powers. Him borrowing this money was not done under his emergency power clause. They say, well, we're going to strip him of the emergency regulatory power. He did not do this through the regulatory power. He just went out and did it on his own without any of those things to back him up legally. Now, $865 million was the amount of money that he took out a loan for without any legal authority. That is $865 million that Kentucky taxpayers now have to pay. That's money that you could have paid to help the schools. I wonder what Kentucky schools could do with $865 million. That's money that Kentucky taxpayers, we could have used that to help the teachers' pensions. We can't do that anymore because now we have to pay back this loan. I don't care if Andy Beshear was the governor for the next 10, 20 years. He will never pay back this much money. He has taken from Kentucky what we could have used for some of our other much needed categories, and he has stolen our ability to do that. In effect, Andy Beshear has stolen $865 million from Kentucky taxpayers, and I want him to answer for that. Because if all the legislature does is strip him of his emergency powers, that's not what he used to borrow this money to begin with. And so he basically broke the law, stole $750 million from the state, and nothing would happen to him. This is a crime, and it needs to be dealt with. Whether they like him politically or they dislike him politically, he must be made to answer for this crime that he has committed against the people of Kentucky. If you want to make sure that your legislature acts on this, then you're going to have to contact them. You can give them a phone call. The phone number at the Capitol is 1-800-372-7181. And again, just leave a message for your legislator saying, hey, Andy Beshear committed a crime, a big one, and I want you to make sure there's consequences. There may be, I think, necessity of criminal charges for what he has done. Well, until next week, I'm Lee Watts for Patriot Point. Stand strong and breathe free.